Good morning, everyone. So today we are prepping the van to be painted. We're actually painting it ourselves with Plasti Dip. So right now Nate is masking off, let's see if you can see him. He's masking off the tires and wheels. We're gonna be masking off all of the trim pieces on the van, and then we'll be Plasti Dipping it. So Plasti Dip is kind of a rubbery textured spray-on paint, and it's supposedly pretty easy to do by yourself. So we opted for this over a vinyl wrap or traditional paint. One reason was because we could do it ourselves, and another reason was because of cost. So to do the entire van, we're spending right around $600, $600 or $700. And so like at that price, we could mess it up and redo it again 2 or 3 times or 5 or 6 times and still be under the cost of a wrap for this thing. So that's what we went with. That's what we decided to go with. So this is a total learning process for us. We spent all night last night watching tutorials and making sure we know how to do it correctly. Hopefully we know how to do it correctly. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started.
So the first thing that we ended up doing was basically scrubbing down the entire van. All of the body panels that were going to be Plasti Dipped needed to be scrubbed. There's a formula that comes into play that they send with you, or they send with the kit, and basically we just scrubbed until we were satisfied that it was all clean. After that, we taped and masked off all the areas that we didn't want Plasti Dip on. Although you don't have to be incredibly precise, it's good to get pretty close.
So we've basically got the van all masked off, pretty much covered all of the surfaces that we don't want to paint, and protected the radiator up front. Just kind of removed everything that we didn't want painted. And so I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Nate's gonna start on the roof, and he's just gonna be using a ladder and trying to get all of that roof just by going around with a ladder. So let's see how this works. We've got our full setup ready to go. Just open the first gallon of Plasti Dip right there. And we're about to mix it up and get started. All right, this is our first coat on the roof. So obviously not full coverage because it is the first coat, but I mean, it's looking good so far, I think.
So once we started Plasti Dipping, we essentially just worked our way around the van in just kind of a continuous circle. The Plasti Dip needed about 10 minutes to dry, and it took us about 15 minutes to basically put one layer on one side. So by the time we put it on one side, the other side was ready to go, and so we just kind of worked back and forth. On the roof was the hardest part because it's just kind of hard to access. If you had some scaffolding, that would probably be the best way, but kind of the way that we did it worked just fine. Kind of the way we saw it is, it's on the roof, nobody's really going to be seeing the roof anyway, but honestly the roof does look really, really good. So as we were doing this and we put on the kind of the gunmetal gray color, it was kind of hard to like go on because it looked so good. Like we really liked the way the gunmetal gray looked. But we already bought the kind of the sand color, and so that's what we wanted to do. But yeah, we definitely had a moment where we were like, man, this looks really good. We ought to just like stick with it. But yeah, we're pretty happy with the final processes or the final color as well. So one thing we did learn that we would like to share that we kind of messed up on that we didn't really see in the, so on the Plasti Dip YouTube channel and the website, they have a lot of really good tutorials. And something that we didn't see on there that we kind of messed up on was it's a really good idea to not paint when it's not paint in the direct sun if you can't help it, because what happens if that Plasti Dip, if it's nice and warm out, and especially if there's a little breeze and it's sunny, the Plasti Dip will actually kind of solidify before it even gets to the body panels, and it will essentially clump up. And we ran into that, and we had what was essentially fuzzy Plasti Dip. Now we've seen a lot of people how they fix it, and you know, a lot of people were saying just peel it off and start over, and we are not quitters, so we decided to find a different way. Anyway, what we ended up doing was we ended up spraying, we ended up getting xylene, which is kind of a super powered paint thinner from what we understand, and we ended up spraying on the spraying it directly on the van, and it actually worked. It took all of the fuzziness, if you will, and it reliquefied it, and once the xylene evaporated, it was pretty much, I mean, way smoother, way smoother, and it looked phenomenal. So once we did that, that was our one little hiccup that we did have. So that was once we did the whole thing with the xylene, you know, that was that worked, yeah, surprisingly really well. We were scared we were going to have to peel it off and start over, but that kind of saved it. So anyway, this was kind of day 2, what you're seeing here. We did all of the gunmetal gray color on the first day. I think we did 4 coats on the whole thing, and then we did an additional 2 coats for a total of 6 coats on the bottom black area. On these sprinters, there's a plastic trim piece, and we just Plasti Dip right over it, make it match up, and a little extra protection. So we wanted the hood to be black, so we taped over that as well. Now the roof, we actually did the roof in the sand color the day before. We kind of did that because we didn't want like any problems with like overspray, and there, like I said, the roof was a hard thing, and there really wasn't a really good way to do it. You know, the way we did it, I think it worked adequately. I don't know if it was the best way, but we really couldn't think of a better way to do it at the time. And looking back on it, I can't think of a better way to do it now either, other than scaffolding, which we're not getting scaffolding. So anyway, we applied the sand color. In the blog post, you can read all about how many gallons of Plasti Dip it took. Like Stephanie said in the intro, it cost about $600 for the whole thing. Now I will say that the spray gun that was included with that, you know, $600 something price is a really good spray gun. So like, I mean, that's, you know, whatever, $150 probably, that would, you know, that we'll have on hand now. You know, it's always, I don't know, always doing like DIY projects, and so it's, you know, never a bad thing to have a paint sprayer on hand, especially if you're trying to paint like some house, you know, stuff inside the house or whatever. So you can use it for that as well. So after we got done putting I believe we put 4 coats of sand color onto the top part of the sprinter, and it was time to start peeling everything off. So we just worked our way around all of the tape, nice and easy. The less time you can leave the tape on, kind of the better. That's why we took the tape off of that one side, because the tape actually kind of helps you edge. So you spray your Plasti Dip on, and then you take the tape off, and the tape actually kind of helps cut the Plasti Dip away from the painted areas, if you will. Something I do recommend is getting a really good mask. You can get a good mask for probably 30 or 40 bucks. We on the first day we didn't have one, and we went and bought one after the first day, because we just had the smaller little fabric masks. I don't know, the little cheap ones that you can buy, that wasn't quite cutting it. It was, yeah, pretty noxious stuff, honestly. So especially with the xylene. The xylene was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will. That was the main reason why we ended up going and getting a higher quality mask. So this whole process ended up taking us, I believe, 2 days. and it was pretty good, honestly. Like we would totally do it again. Like Stephanie said in the beginning, like we were getting quotes for we were initially going to vinyl wrap it, and some of the quotes we were getting were in like the $5,000 to $9,000 range, and that was we were expected to spend some money on the making the outside look a little better, but that was a little excessive for what we were wanting to do, and so we started researching other options. Came across this Plasti Dip from one of the members in one of the Facebook groups that we're in for sprinters or camper vans, and his work is absolutely phenomenal, and so we thought we'd give it a go. There's a few spots as it sits right now after it dries where you can kind of sort of see where one stroke leaves off and the next stroke starts, but that's probably only something I'll be able to tell, myself and Stephanie. If you're looking at it, you'd be hard pressed to see it, honestly, unless you're just absolutely looking for imperfections. So you can notice right here that Stephanie is actually working on the headlight. We didn't tape off the headlight because we're just going to peel the Plasti Dip right off. So Plasti Dip is, it's made to peel off eventually. It's not like a 30-year plan kind of thing. It'll last, apparently anywhere from 3 to 5 years before you need to reapply. And so yeah, it's one of those kind of things. But anyway, Stephanie's peeling that off right off the headlight, so we didn't even need to tape that off. So reassembling the grill that we painted, we just left the Dodge grill on there, and so turned out looking pretty good, and we're pretty happy with how it turned out, honestly. Like I said, I think we would totally do that again if here in 3 to 5 years or whatever the case is, if it needs to be reapplied or anything. I think we would go that route again. It turned out good enough and was. I don't know, it looks pretty sharp, honestly. So anyway, thanks for watching, and be sure if you have any questions to leave them in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.